The Iraqi Dinar Revaluation, a global financial shift in motion. Introduction. A transformation few are noticing in the world of global finance. Some changes happen loudly, markets fluctuate, headlines scream, and analysts debate. Other changes, however, occur quietly, behind the scenes, involving institutions, reforms, and processes that most of the public never sees until the results are undeniable. Right now, according to financial commentator Frank26, one of those quiet but monumental changes is unfolding. The subject at the center of this shift is the Iraqi dinar, a currency long discussed in speculative circles. For years, the possibility of the dinar being revalued has been met with skepticism, hope, and endless questions about timing. But Frank26 insists that the era of waiting is over. The revaluation is no longer a theoretical concept, it is already happening. And it is not an isolated domestic event, but a coordinated, global transformation involving the world's largest financial institutions. This article will walk through the evidence, the institutions involved, the reforms underway, and the implications for anyone holding Iraqi dinars. By the end, you will see why Frank26 believes the revaluation process has moved from rumor and speculation into active execution. Iraq's long road to economic reform. To understand the scale of what is happening, one must first grasp how far Iraq has come. Since the early 2000s, Iraq has faced immense challenges. War, political instability, and economic hardship tied almost entirely to oil. The dinar suffered as the economy struggled. But quietly, steadily, Iraq has been working on rebuilding, not just physically, but economically and financially. Modernizing the banking system, one of the most important reforms has been the modernization of Iraq's banking infrastructure. For decades, the system was outdated, inefficient, and disconnected from international markets. Transactions that should have been seamless across borders were clunky, slow, or impossible. Over the past several years, Iraq has implemented technologies and regulations that bring its banks in line with global standards. This modernization means faster settlements, smoother international transfers, and improved access for investors. More importantly, it creates the backbone required for a credible and stable currency revaluation. Without a functioning banking system that integrates globally, no revaluation could hold weight. Fiscal responsibility and global alignment. In addition to banking reforms, Iraq has restructured its fiscal policies. The government has adopted frameworks designed to meet international financial requirements. Budgeting practices have been refined, transparency has increased, and oversight mechanisms have improved. Why does this matter? Because a currency's strength is not based on hope, it's built on fundamentals. When a nation demonstrates responsibility in how it manages its finances, international investors gain confidence. Iraq's reforms are signaling that it is ready to operate on a global stage with credibility. The involvement of global institutions, one of the strongest signs that Iraq's currency revaluation is not just talk, is the caliber of institutions now involved. Frank26 points out that Iraq is working with some of the most respected names in consulting, auditing, and risk management. Oliver Wyman. Strategic Transformation at Scale. Oliver Wyman, a leading global management consulting firm, is known for guiding major corporations and governments through complex transitions. Their involvement in Iraq's financial transformation signals seriousness at the highest level. Oliver Wyman does not take on small, speculative projects. Their focus is on large-scale systemic change. In Iraq, this means restructuring processes, building financial infrastructure, and ensuring that risk management practices meet international best standards. Their presence suggests that Iraq is not tinkering around the edges, but undergoing a full financial transformation. Ernst & Young. Auditing and transparency. Another major player is Ernst & Young I, one of the world's Big Four accounting firms. EY provides auditing, tax advisory, and financial consulting services to some of the largest governments and corporations in the world. If EY is reviewing Iraq's financial systems, it means the country's records are being scrutinized for transparency, accuracy, and compliance. This kind of audit process is not something a government undertakes unless it is preparing to integrate fully with international financial markets. The oversight of EY adds enormous credibility to the revaluation process. K2 Integrity. Risk management and compliance. K2 Integrity, a firm specializing in compliance, financial investigations, and risk management, is also involved. Their role ensures that Iraq's financial system meets the highest standards for security and accountability. Why is this critical? Because a currency revaluation involves not just raising the value of money, but ensuring that new systems cannot be exploited by fraud, corruption, or instability. K2 Integrity's involvement signals that Iraq is preparing for a revaluation that will be secure, transparent, and sustainable. Oversight from global financial organizations beyond private firms, the most powerful international financial institutions are also engaged in Iraq's transition. The World Bank helps countries modernize their economies, establish infrastructure, and align with global standards. Its presence in Iraq's reforms shows that this process is not just national but global. When the World Bank participates, it signals legitimacy. Investors, markets, and foreign governments take note. It suggests that Iraq is being integrated into a broader financial framework with international recognition. The International Monetary Fund, IMF. The IMF serves as the global overseer of monetary cooperation. Its role is to maintain international financial stability and ensure countries align with global economic standards. If the IMF is actively guiding Iraq's reforms, it means every step of the revaluation is being managed with global integration in mind. Oversight from the IMF minimizes risks of disruption and ensures a smooth transition into global markets. ICFC and other coordination bodies, other financial coordination organizations, such as the ICFC, are also reported to be involved. Their purpose is to ensure that major economic events, like a currency revaluation, do not destabilize broader markets. The presence of multiple international institutions adds layers of accountability, reducing risk and increasing the likelihood of success. Public and international education efforts. A currency revaluation is not just a technical financial maneuver. It affects citizens, investors, and international markets. For this reason, Frank26 emphasizes that education is a critical component of the process. Inside Iraq, citizens must understand what the new currency values mean for their daily lives. How will they exchange their money? How will the banking system handle new rates? How will salaries, prices, and savings be adjusted? Public awareness campaigns are reportedly underway to prepare people for these practical shifts. Internationally, investors and financial markets also require education. Clear communication ensures smooth integration, prevents panic, and builds confidence. This education effort is a sign that the implementation phase is active, not just theoretical. Real value creation in Iraq's economy. One of the most persuasive arguments Frank26 makes is that Iraq is not just inflating numbers. It is building real, tangible value. Diversifying beyond oil. Historically, Iraq's economy has been almost entirely dependent on oil. While oil remains central, the government has made significant progress in diversifying into agriculture, manufacturing, and services. This diversification reduces risk and strengthens the dinar's underlying value. Infrastructure development. Massive infrastructure projects are also underway: roads, bridges, ports, telecommunications, and more. These projects not only improve daily life for Iraqis, but also create the foundation for sustainable economic growth. Modern banking and finance. With its banking sector modernized and aligned with global standards, Iraq now has the tools to support international trade and investment. This infrastructure is essential for sustaining a credible revaluation. Together, these efforts demonstrate that Iraq's currency value is being built on fundamentals, not speculation. Contract rates. A signal of imminent action. Another indicator Frank26 points to is the preparation of contract rates. These are special exchange rates offered to certain groups or investors during currency transitions. The introduction of contract rates typically occurs just before a full-scale revaluation. They signal that banks and exchange institutions are preparing for active currency conversion. If contract rates are being implemented, it suggests that the revaluation is not in the distant future, but close at hand. Why this moment is different from past speculation. For years, the idea of an Iraqi dinar revaluation has circulated in financial and speculative communities. Skeptics often dismissed it as rumor, while hopeful investors waited for signs of progress. What makes this moment different? 1. Institutional oversight. Never before have firms like Oliver Wyman, Ernst & Young, and K2 Integrity been visibly involved. 2. Global institutions. The direct engagement of the World Bank and IMF takes this beyond speculation into structured execution. 3. Education campaigns, public and international preparation indicates an active rollout, not just planning. 4. Real economic growth. Iraq is diversifying, building infrastructure, and modernizing its systems, creating real value for the Dinar 5 contract rates. The presence of special rates suggests imminent action. This combination of factors sets the current situation apart from years of speculation. The implications for dinar holders. For individuals holding Iraqi dinars, the developments carry enormous implications. If the revaluation unfolds as described, holders could see significant changes in the value of their holdings. But beyond individual investors, the revaluation represents a broader shift. It signals Iraq's integration into the global economy, greater stability in the Middle East, and new opportunities for international trade and investment. Conclusion. From speculation to execution, Frank26's update emphasizes that the Iraqi dinar revaluation is no longer a theory waiting for the right time. It is a carefully managed, globally overseen process already in motion. Iraq's reforms have modernized banking, established fiscal responsibility, and built real economic value. Global institutions, from consulting firms to the IMF, are guiding and overseeing the process. Public and international education ensures smooth adoption and stability. Contract rates point to an imminent shift from planning to execution. This is not rumor. It is not speculation. It is a coordinated event with global significance. For dinar holders, and for anyone watching international finance, the message is clear. The revaluation is actively unfolding before our eyes. Disclaimer: all content provided by IQD Global Intel is for educational and informational purposes only. We are not financial advisors and do not provide investment, trading, or banking advice. Viewers should always conduct their own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions.